right from the 1960s, when Nigeria got its independence, the first coup, corruption was mentioned.
As in, how can the people now contribute in this fight against corruption?
When you look at it, fighting of corruption is not one man business. It's the teamwork. It's the teamwork. If we can come together and fight corruption, we can bury that thing overnight.
As a citizen of Nigeria,
what can be done to make the society better? You know, as a woman here, you know, as a mother.
The society doesn't want to give these women opportunities because they think these women can come and dominate the role men play in the society.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the program, The Advocate. My name is Jack Vincent Fidelis and I'm your host. With me to discuss issues on anti-corruption and accountability in governance, I have a very special guest. My guest is Femi Owolabi. He is into investigative journalism. This is somebody I hold in high esteem. Mr. Femi, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Jack. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. As a journalist whose area of interest is in investigative work, what is your take on the issue of security in Nigeria?
So what we talk about the issue of security in Nigeria, what first comes to mind is, of course, the Boko Haram insurgency that has lasted or that has been on now for over a decade. And unfortunately, I don't think we've been able to, tackle this the way we ought to have if we've been actually serious about the fight against the insurgency, right from the previous government to the one we have now. There are some issues that still keep reoccurring, and it makes it appear like we are not really doing anything. A few years ago, some of us set some indicator that will show us that we are indeed winning the war. For instance, we say, okay, we should have the airport reopened, then we should have public schools, reopened in Borno, Damwa and other places. And then there's this particular road, the road that goes to Biu and all of that. So, but I'm fine. We have public schools reopened.
Yes.
And at a point again, we have those kids run back to Maiduguri because their towns, the town where, attacked again. And then look at this, the Damboa to Biu road again. We have reports that the road has been closed and it's no more safe for use. So these are some of the things that we see, and we are unable to say if indeed we have or we are winning this war or we won.
Okay. You see, military personnel have been complaining over the years about poor funding, poor weaponry, and poor welfare. I want to believe from the amount we hear as votes or budgets on security, these issues should not come up. Corruption and lack of accountability in the system, to a very large extent, is responsible for this. So, what do you think? How do you think this ugly trend, can be changed?
Again, this is quite unfortunate, and the Nigeria's military has not been accountable, so to speak. I am very sure that our military personnel in Nigeria I don't think they're up to 1 million.
The numerical strength of the army.
Yes, I don't think you are to 1 million. Maybe
for a country of over 100 million people.
And where I'm even going is that these guys, it's not that there are too many that we cannot make adequate provision for them. Now, in 2017, we had some soldiers complaining about their welfare and all of that. For over a year, we were writing letter to the Army Director of Finance Corps. We also wrote to the Chief of Army Staff, okay, please. We found out that in the appropriation for 2016, 17, 18, there is over 100 billion that has been budgeted for military operations. We have different budgets.
100 billion naira or dollars?
More than naira, actually. Budgeted for military operations. And everybody in Nigeria will know when you talk of military operation, the only one that comes to mind immediately is Operation Lafia Dole in the Northeast, which has been active, for years now.
Well, you'll agree with me that in the Northwest, there is the problem of the so-called herdsmen, what do you call them? We call them bandits.
I mean, maybe the case got escalated a few years. Yeah, there have always been pockets of, here and there, but not as huge as what we have in the Northeast. We have the highest concentration of our soldiers, of our troops in the Northeast here. And they've been complaining about this welfare thing. Some of them are not properly fed. They don't get their allowance on time. We've seen them protest in some of these videos they share online. And then we started asking the question. We just want you to be accountable. There's one thing about the budget. The government can budget 100 billion. And might not have that money. So they could approve maybe 80 billion. And even that approval, the Nigerian army might not get the 80 billion within that fiscal year. Maybe they get 50 billion and then it rolls over into the fiscal year. We are even saying that, look, give us this information. The former president signed the Freedom of Information Act, which allows you as a citizen to ask questions on bordering on, anything that has to do.
For the benefit of our viewers and our listeners.
Okay.
This Freedom of Information Act, it doesn't involve the military or what?
No, the act, as much as I know, I've studied the act back and forth. As much as I know, the only information you cannot give is if it has to do with national security. And in this case, this has nothing to do with national security. This money has been appropriated. Soldiers are telling us that they are hungry. Okay, how? Tell us, show us records of how. It's as simple as that.
Who regulates the activities of the military?
Well, we have the Ministry of Defense. And then we have, the Nigerian Army, Navy, and then the Air Force. I think all of them are under the Chief of Defense Staff, but they have separate budget.
I understand that very much. You see, Nigerians are interested in knowing how they are regulated. I can give other examples.
Okay.
You understand? For example, I can say maybe the NUJ regulates activities of journalists.
Okay.
In Nigeria. Now, these military people, they are the same military people who will be willing to hide certain things they don't want the general public to be aware of. Okay? So, nobody outside of the military circle monitors what they do there or what.
Okay. Well, the much I know, I don't think so. I don't think, and if we will have it, will still be the Ministry of Defense.
There's this popular saying that nobody talks about military budget.
Yeah,
it's a very popular saying in Nigeria.
In fact,
I don't know how true that is.
In fact, when we're researching this welfare budget about welfare and all of that, the budget was not listed under the Ministry of Defense in that document. You go to Nigerian Army, it's not there. You go to Navy, you go to Air Force, it's not there. The budget for military operation was listed under national planning.
Is that not a lacuna?
You
Some
see,
sort of Is it right?
For me, I think it's not right. Like, we were just looking for the information in the budget, checking A, B, C. Where could this thing be? We were surprised when we saw it on the national planning. We're wondering what is the military operation budget doing it. So definitely there are some things they just don't want you to know about. So to me, I see it as
could that be what they refer to as national security?
How is that national security? No, it's not national.
Okay.
We have. In fact, there used to be this source. I mean, this tool that they put. It gives you data on the spendings of all military institutions across the world. We used to have Nigeria there. Some of these are not. They are just basic information. The U.S. Army, you can Google the salary scale, the allowances, and all of that. For if a U.S. soldier is killed in action, I understand they pay the family about $400,000. In fact, the U.S. Army will do everything to get its soldier back, either dead or alive.
Thank you very much. In case you are just joining us, the program is The Advocate, a program designed to deliberate on issues of anti-corruption and accountability in governance. On the program today, we've been deliberating on issues around the military and their operations. My guest, Femi Owolabi, is a journalist of repute. I want to say thank you for being with us thus far. If you don't go away, we have a lot more to discuss.
Right from the 1960s, when Nigeria got its independence, the first coup, corruption was mentioned.
As in, how can the people now contribute in this fight against corruption?
When you look at it, fighting of corruption is not one man business. It's the teamwork. If we can come together and fight corruption, we can bury everything overnight.
As a citizen of Nigeria,
What can be done to make the society better? As a woman here, as a mother.
The society doesn't want to give these women opportunities because they think these women can come and dominate the role men play in the society.
Thank you for still being there. The program is The Advocate, and I'm with Femi Owolabi, a professional journalist. Sir, it's good to have you here.
Always, Jack.
Now, you see, on this issue we've been discussing, it all boils down to one thing: the ability of our military to prosecute the ongoing war in the Northeast to a logical conclusion. There's no way we can achieve this with massive corruption in the system. Probably, corruption and lack of accountability in the system is the reason this war has stayed for this long, over a decade.
I agree with you.
Over a decade. Now, how can accountability and anti-corruption be entrenched in the system?
Yeah, like what I was talking about the other time. You see, our soldiers are complaining. They are not motivated.
Yeah.
Some of them go to... There was a time a soldier was telling us that they were mobilized with this shield car that has become faulty, that they checked the engine number. The shield car was manufactured sometime in 1945. In Russia, and that is what they are still using. And because the thing is old, one of the engines is already gone. Now they have to improvise by using the functional engine to power the barrels and at the same time power the wheels. So 5 minutes into the bush, the thing starts overeating. And then you come back to the budget. You see what have been budgeted. You see the billions of naira, sometimes dollars that have been budgeted. I understand that it could be difficult sometimes getting weapons and getting weapons imported for our troops here and all of because of these diplomatic bottlenecks and here and there. But now we're even talking about the welfare. The welfare that every fiscal year that the fight against insurgency has been launched, there is a significant part of the budget of the country that goes into this war. So how are we spending this money? Who is there to answer? Nigerian Army Finance Corps, you write to them, you call, nobody is answering. And then the soldiers come back to you, but we've told you this is what is about what's happening. And you tell them, we've written those people that we believe are in charge of, the military finances and all of that, but nobody is. I think the president should take it as a critical responsibility, call our army chiefs, security chiefs, especially Army, Air Force and the Navy, and call them that, look, this is what we are having. There was a report we did, and the president said he read the report about the welfare, and he was going to look into it. Barely 2 weeks after, the Minister of Information came out and said the report was false.
The report
we did was false. The report that had video evidence, that had pictorial evidences were there, everything were there. And the minister said, so we had to call our soldiers across what's happening, that we understand that the presidency set up a committee to find out what's really going on with soldiers' welfare. And they were asking each other where, when, how. That please the minister should tell us where the committee come to in the Northeast. Where did they see soldiers that they engage them, ask them about their welfare? So from what we gathered from all the soldiers, such committee never existed. So this is this part, and this government came on the wheel on the promise of accountability and and all of that. So I think it's quite unfortunate. And if you study the report of the Auditor General, the report of 2016 that was published recently, a few months ago, the Auditor General remarked that ministries, departments, and agencies and government institutions, they have failed to be accountable of government spending.
So, are we doomed? Because with these vile reports, there is no way we can make any headway in this country.
Well,
are we doomed as a nation, or there is hope that anything could change?
Well, I believe there is hope.
I hate to believe that we are doomed.
Yeah, same here. I believe there is hope, and one of the this kind of program, the Advocate, I believe a lot of people are following this, and maybe they will again take it up with the authorities. These things are not. I don't know. They are not rocket science that we cannot do. As a no-rank soldier in the US, you take about $1,500. If the army finds out that you are married, that is additional $1,200 for housing allowance. Here we see our soldiers who are deployed for war. They don't get hazard allowance. The supposed operational allowance doesn't come on time. Then you have soldiers calling you, please, my family in the barracks there in Kaduna and Kano, please, there's no food for them, help us to. You can't be serving the country, on the front line, and then your family suffers. But this is what the government should look into. And I
actually demoralizing.
It is actually. It is. And then we have soldiers who are wounded in action, and we see most of them come back, and then the kind of treatment they get, some of them don't even get the drugs that they're supposed to use, the good treatment they use.
So quickly, what would be your advice to stakeholders in these fights against insurgency, terrorism, and all that plagues us as a nation?
I think it still goes back to the president. Let the president call his chiefs. Look, the soldiers are the one in the front line to ensure that they are properly catered for and make these things, make it public. Like, look, this is what we are spending on. So all our soldiers have received what they are entitled to, and these guys will be motivated, and before you know it, we are done with the war.
I hope we live to see this happen in the nearest future. It's at this point that I want to say a very big thank you to you, Mr. Femi Owolabi. It's been really great having you here. I only hope that subsequently, if the need to have you comes up, you'll oblige us with your presence.
Of course.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is the much we can take on the program, The Advocate, for this week. If you've had a nice time being with us, why not keep it the same time, same station next week for another episode of the same program? Until then, so long.